What's up? What's up? What's up? Here we are. Here we are. Let's go. Refresh it all up. What's up, guys? How are you doing today? Grand rising to all you beautiful ass humans out there that are coming in now and probably will see this later. I really appreciate you clicking on this video. Thanks for being here. Thank you so much for being here. We got a lot of stuff to get into today. We're going to be talking about a lot of different stuff, but we're also going to be we're going to start with the, old mindful message like we always do. We're going to be talking about frequencies today. And then we're going to do what we regularly do is we're just going to go and look on the internet and just watch things on the internet and try and figure out what's happening here on planet Earth. And then if you're here towards the end of the stream, we're also going to go probably, continue watching a documentary we've been watching so we can also just learn stuff together, because that's really what I like to do, is just learn things. So what's up, guys? Here we are. No, bro, we're just barely starting, Scott. We're just barely starting today, bro. What's goody in the hoodie, everyone? Let's see here. Did it do what it was supposed to? Did it do what it's supposed to poster? Did it do what it's supposed to poster? What's up, gang? What's up, gang? What's up, gang? What's up, motherfuckers? Let me go like this, hit it like this, hit him with the boom bump thing to just getting everything ready for you guys. What's up? How are you guys doing today? Dang, we got nobody on Facebook. It's so weird. Facebook is a trip. YouTube's going okay. Everything should be going. Everything should be going. Camera looks like it's moving around just fine. What's up? Favorite part of the day? I love doing this too, bro. It's my favorite part of the day, to be honest. I love getting on the internet and talking to you beautiful humans. You beautiful humans. You beautiful humans. I'm just getting a freaking... I just want to slide. In the sky like it's 2055. What's up, Cody? I see you, bro. What's up, dude? What's up? Who's in here? If you're in here, say what's up. I see you guys. I see you guys. It's not literally showing me who's in here right now. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to put a little story. All right. Alrighty. 222 Eastern. Let's go. What's up, motherfuckers? Shit. Hell yeah. We got some people on YouTube, I'm pretty sure. Cobra Kai, yo. Yeah. What's up, motherfuckers? How are you guys today, dude? What's going down? Cheers to all you lovely humans out there. Clink. Oh, today's opener is a banger. Today's opener is a motherfucking banger. Fuck yeah. I'm going to just shrink this up just a little bit for, you know what I'm saying? Just like put it right here so everybody could see. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we expand it out a little and shrink it a little because I want it to be able to be seen. But I also, on Facebook, who's in here? If you're here, what's up, Debbie? What's up, Debbie? What's up, Debbie? We were outside hooping today. You're... Dang, dude. Whoa, did I lose you guys? You guys here? Did I lose you guys? What happened? Did I lose you for a second? It's the Mossad. It's Mossad, bro. It shows that I'm up here on everything. Blink twice if you're okay. Can you put some aliens in the chat if you can see me? Aliens in the chat if you can see me. Something just happened. It just like closed out. What's good, Preston? What's good? Okay, Alien Cobra Kai over on Twitch. We got 14 on Twitch. Y'all can see me. What's up? Y'all can see me. Do we need a blinker check real fast? Blinker check, blinker check. 1, 2, 7. Twitch is down. It should be going back up. Debbie Rowe can see me. Okay. Israel nuked the stream. You're probably right. We're going to get into what Israel's been up to, actually, because Israel has been up to some fuckery. We're going to get into that after the mindful message, though. We'll let everybody trickle in. Just show support, whatever platform you're on, YouTube and Twitch, or on the comments on the screen. What's up, motherfuckers? What's happening? It's been a long time. It's been a few days. It's been a few days. You guys ready for this? Oh, you're just catching up, Stream Elements, are you? Alrighty. Alrighty. Let's get right into this, alright? Let's get into today's opener. You're back, yeah. Israel nuked the stream just like they probably are trying to nuke Iran or something. I don't know. I heard about that on the news. Maybe you guys can educate me a little bit. But let's get into this, into Dizzle's mindful mizzle. Alright, the mindful mizzle. Let me just take a little blinker because I'm going to, hit record and clip this for later. So if you see it, please like and comment and share on it later. I'm actually going to do something a little different. Hopefully you guys like this type of vibe. You know what I'm saying? All right, here we go. If you're here, say hello, please. We got 5 on Facebook. We've got 9 on Twitch. We've got 0 on YouTube. It's showing me. Maybe I'm incorrect. Maybe these numbers aren't accurate. I have no way of ever knowing. So I just talk and just do what I do. But here we go. Cheers. What if raise your frequency isn't just some cute spiritual slogan, but an accurate description of what you're doing with your biology and your energy field and your timeline? And every time you choose a thought, a breath, or a reaction, it shifts. If that already hit somewhere in your chest, please drop the word frequency in the comments so I know that you're actually tuned in and you're not just going to here to collect spiritual quotes. Let's start with the physics, and then I'll translate it into some spiritual language. At the deepest level, modern physics does not see the universe as a pile of little solid marbles. It sees it as fields spread across space, like an ocean of potential that can vibrate in different ways. The electron field is everywhere. An electron is a vibration of that field. A photon field is everywhere. A photon is a vibration of the electromagnetic field. Quantum field theory says a particle is what a field looks like when it's vibrating in a particular pattern and a particular place. The math we use to describe those states is called a wave function. It doesn't just say where something is. It also describes like the whole cloud of possibilities and probability of each one. So underneath the appearance, reality is fields, vibrations, and probabilities. In plain language, everything you can touch is made up of frozen music. Different fields, different notes, different harmonies. And your body is made out of that exact same stuff. Now, where do frequencies come in? A frequency is just how fast something is oscillating or moving up and down. How many cycles per second in wave physics and quantum theory, different frequencies correspond to different energies and different behaviors. High frequency is like more energy per unit. Low frequency, less energy per unit. On the spiritual side, people have always talked in this language. Oh boy, that room really felt heavy. Her energy is so calm and high at the same time. Bro, did you feel the same way? That situation just felt so dense and stuck. They're literally describing patterns in consciousness and emotion the way physics describes patterns in waves. Quantum physics isn't saying your sadness is exactly X hertz, but it is saying the entire universe is a vibrational medium and you're not just outside of it. Your nervous system is plugged into the same fabric that electrons and photons vibrate in. Your frequency is how your inner patterns of thought, emotions, and psychology line up with that field. If that already reframed your vibe as something real and embodied, you could also just drop the word field in the comments so it lands in your nervous system, not just in your intellect. Now let's drop this from the head into the heart. Modern research on the heart field is wild. Your heart generates the strongest electromagnetic field of any organ that's in your body, and it's measurable several feet around you. The field itself carries information about your emotional state and interacts with your brain and nervous system in a constant two-way conversation. When you feel frustration or anger, your heart rhythm looks jagged and chaotic. But when you get to a place in the present moment where you feel appreciation or love, it shifts into a smooth, ordered pattern. That's called coherence. This isn't just poetry, even though it might sound poetic. This is measurable, documented. There's research on this. Coherence is literally a more organized vibration of your heart and your nervous system. In that state, your brain works more efficiently, bruh. You can think clearer. You can regulate your emotions better. You can access intuition way easier. So the spiritual translation is when they say raise your frequency into gratitude, compassion, or love. It's not that you're just like feeling nicer feelings. You're shifting your body into a more harmonious vibration and broadcasting that pattern into your own cells and the space that is around you. That is the frequency work, bro. Now let's add the quantum observer effect. In quantum mechanics, the observer effect says that the very act of measuring or observing a system changes it. Before observation, a system is described as a wave function, a spread of probabilities and possibilities. After observation, that spread collapses into one actual outcome. You cannot look without touching. You cannot measure without influencing. So spiritually, this mirrors ideas like where attention goes, energy flows, what you focus on grows. Your awareness isn't neutral, bro. It's participatory. Every time you lock your attention into a thought, a story, a fear, a possibility, you are, in a sense, measuring the line of reality inside of your own field. You are collapsing your inner wave function toward that outcome. So when you obsessively feed fear, worst case scenarios, resentment, regret, doom, you're not just watching a low frequency reality. You're practicing that frequency. You're wiring your nervous system and heart field to live there. When you choose again and again to return your awareness to courage, truth, gratitude, and love, you're not avoiding reality. You're choosing which version of reality you will be coherent with. You're training your inner field to resonate with different probabilities. Right now, you need to affirm to yourself, everyone that's in this live stream, as well as the people that will see this later in the comments, and just drop, I choose my frequency. So your future self remembers this on their next bad day. So here's where quantum, spiritual, and practical all meet up. Think of your nervous system like this, the quantum view. You are made of fields of vibrating patterns consistently interacting with everything around you. Now the biological view. You are a nervous system, a brain, and a heart that's broadcasting electrical and magnetic signals through your body and way beyond. Spiritual view. You are consciousness choosing how to relate in every moment, every thought, every emotion, every person. Your frequency is the overall pattern of all three: the stories you repeat, the emotions that you rehearse, the way that you breathe, the way your heart is beating, the quality of your attention. Low frequency doesn't mean bad person. It often means like chronic stress, old trauma looping, overexposure to fear-based media, no tools for regulation or coherence. High frequency doesn't mean fake positive. It means nervous systems more regulated than not. Heart able to come back to coherence faster after stress. Mind is trained to notice, not to worship every fear. Your soul is anchored in purpose, bigger than today's drama. That's frequency in 3D, bro. So how do you actually work with your frequency? Not just a concept, but like something you can do every day. You just have to tend to your heart field. Once or twice a day, put your hand on your chest and breathe slowly and steadily for 1 to 2 minutes, a little deeper, but not forced. And while you breathe, bring up one real feeling of appreciation, something simple and true. Research genuinely shows that even a few minutes of this kind of state can improve mental clarity, emotional regulation, intuitive problem solving for hours, bro. You're just going to simply upgrade your signal. Number 2, bro, is guard the observer. Like, have hygiene for your attention. Notice when you're repeatedly giving your attention to news, conflict, gossip, fear, loops, or possibly solutions and healing. Quantum physics tells us observation changes the system. Spiritual wisdom tells us attention feeds outcomes. Practically, that means that your media diet and your inner monologue are frequency choices. Number 3, clean the instrument, bro. Like your body and nervous system. Sleep, movement, hydration, actual food, sunlight. These aren't becoming or boring extras, bro. They are how you keep your hardware capable of running higher order frequencies. A fried nervous system will interrupt everything as a threat. A rested one can actually receive subtle guidance. Number 4, just rewrite the code, player. Like the beliefs and the stories that you tell yourself. Notice the sentences that live in your head. I always mess up. Nobody sees me. It's too late. This is just who I am. These are not just thoughts, bro. They're literally scripts for your frequency. Gently challenging and rewriting them is not delusion. It's literally recoding your inner field. And then number 5, choose your baseline emotion. You're going to feel like the whole spectrum: sad, anger, grief, joy, confusion. But over time, you can choose a home frequency that you return to, like trust, gratitude, curiosity. That home base becomes the gravitational center of your field. If any of these 5 practices that I've given you that you can do any time you choose, any and every day, you can also just drop new signal in the comments so that you anchor your intention. And I don't know if you can see it, but I can see it. This is where Team Human really matters, bro. Team Human is for the ones who are done pretending they're just random meat in a meaningless universe. For the ones who understand that physically, they are vibrating fields. Emotionally, they are broadcasting patterns into their body and the environment. Spiritually, they are consciously choosing how to show up in a world that profits from them being afraid and disconnected. Being Team Human means that you take your frequency seriously, bro. It's not aesthetic. It's like your responsibility. You know that your regulated, coherent presence affects rooms, kids, partners, clients, strangers, whether they have language for it or not. You practice coming back to love, not because life is soft, but because love is one of the most stable, high-ordered frequencies a human system can hold. We're not here to be perfect, bro. We're just here on purpose. To remember, I'm a living frequency in a living field. I will not hand my signal over to fear by default. And if you can feel that even just 1% in your bones, to show me that you're here at the end of the video, you can comment Team Human or even hit the follow button so that you can stay in a space that keeps reminding you of who and what you really are, bro. Because you're not just a surviving energy that you can't control. You are a signal. And this lifetime is your chance to decide what you broadcast. I love you, bro. Ooh. Ooh. Oh, shit, motherfucker. That shit was gas. Abracadabra. That shit was gas, bro. I'm just saying. That shit was gas, bro. If you're new here, that's just what we kind of try and do, you know? The next part of the stream is, or the video that you potentially might be watching at a later time. I try every day to come up in here and just give you guys some just fucking meat you can take home and just eat. Your spirit can eat it up. Because the rest of the stream, I have no idea where this is going. You might see me crash out live on stream. You might see me cry. We might just end up talking about Tartaria and the World Fair and how Cabbage Patch Kids are actually clones. We might dive into Epstein, but I try my best every single stream to come up in here and give you something you can take away from it, not just a bunch of hooting and hollering. You know what I'm saying? Not just a bunch of this hippie mumbo jumbo type shit. You heard me? Because, oh boy, do we got some shit to get up into, boy. First of all, we're going to go ahead.
On the next day, on June...
You guys know who Thomas Massie is, right? Yeah, he just lost his election. Yeah, it's been a while. That was like when I wasn't shadow banned, when I was doing the quantum spirituality videos, huh? Thomas Massie's going to lace up our boots a little bit. He went on the floor and just wanted to bring up a certain topic, so we're just going to listen to what Thomas Massie has to say.
8th, they started the day. The visibility was unlimited. The American flag was flying proudly on the USS Liberty. More planes came from Israel to surveil the boat, the ship. And they thought they were in good shape, but what happened next surprised them all. French Mirage jets showed up and for 25 minutes strafed and attacked the USS Liberty. They shot rockets. They shot 30-millimeter cannons into the hull and into the ship. They even dropped napalm on the bridge of the ship. This was an effort to kill everybody on board. There was no intention of taking prisoners.
Have you guys heard of the USS Liberty? Just curious.
After the 25 grueling minutes of attack on this virtually unarmed ship, and they thought things were over and they could recover, the torpedo boats showed up. 3 torpedo boats. The
USS Liberty was an American ship. Let's just ask Perplexity to provide the factual information, at least from the AI. I can't say that it's factual, but because I don't have like all the dates and the specifics. So let's ask Perplex. Okay, so I'm trying to have a better understanding of what happened to the U.S. ship, the USS Liberty, and regarding its attack, etc. Can you please provide factual information about that situation?
Here's a quick, factual overview of the USS Liberty incident based on historical sources. On June 8, 1967, during the Six-Day War, the USS Liberty, a U.S. Navy signals intelligence ship, was in international waters off the Sinai Peninsula. Israeli reconnaissance planes spotted it in the morning, but due to communication and tracking errors, the ship was later mistaken for an enemy vessel. Around 3:05 p.m., Israeli fighter jets attacked the Liberty with cannon fire, followed by torpedo boats that launched torpedoes. One hit killed 25 men. The attack lasted until about 4:30 p.m., when it was realized the ship was American. In total, 34 crew members were killed and about 171 were wounded. Both the Israeli and U.S. governments conducted investigations. Israel claimed the attack was a tragic case of mistaken identity and apologized, paying reparations. Some U.S. officials and Liberty crew members have long believed that the attack was deliberate, and the incident remains controversial, but official inquiries have generally described it as a wartime mistake caused by miscommunication and human error.
Okay, so then where's the information that I'm receiving that says that actually Israel didn't take accountability? They actually blamed it on Egypt.
I hear your concern, and it's understandable to want clarity. From what reliable sources report, Israel publicly apologized for the attack on the USS Liberty and officially stated it was a mistaken identification. They paid compensation to the victims and their families. And
how can you compensate when you kill someone, motherfucker? Like dead ass, bro. Like, oh, they like gave compensation. What, to the 25 people that were killed when they fucking shot the American ship? Bullshit.
Launched 4 torpedoes. One of them hit the hull of the USS Liberty and killed 25 people instantly. It blew a 40-foot by 40-foot hole in the side of this ship. They were intent on sinking it. But
we love you, Brittany. We love you, Brittany.
They were also intent on not having a single
we like your cut, G.
survivor. According to eyewitness accounts, the Israelis machine gunned the lifeboats that they put down. They machine gunned the firefighters who were on the deck. They were bringing the wounded and the dead to the mess hall to triage them. They had one doctor who was trying to help them all, put a few stitches in. It was harrowing. And
you're right, Scruffmeister. I'll just say it how it is. This is completely pure spec. Israel knew that that was an American ship, bro. There's no way. You're telling me right now, bro, come on. We're adults here, right? Israel is a surveillance state, bro. It's called the fucking Golden Dome for a reason, meaning that they know everything that's happening inside of that Golden Dome. Come on, bro. Come on.
It's amazing. If not for that crew, that boat would have sunk that day. But it still wasn't over. Helicopters showed up, combat helicopters. And the USS Liberty, even though their signals were being jammed by the Israelis, got a signal out. And there were ships that tried to respond. The USS Saratoga, the USS America sent planes. Both of them sent planes to help the USS Liberty. And something happened that's never happened before. A ship under attack, the planes were recalled. This has never happened before. And they sacked it.
Wait a second. Is that implying that the U.S. government knew that their own ship was being attacked? Weird.
There for 17 hours. 34 dead. 100.
Is it crazy after hearing him say that, that if they did that to an American Army ship, like what does that lead us to believe happened in 9/11, bro?
And 74 wounded out of 294 crew members.
Did those people in 9/11 get reparations?
That's over 70% casualty rate, unheard of. The Israelis were intent on leaving no survivor. And what about our own military? Why did they not send anybody for 17 hours to help these men? So what really happened? You know, the official reports say that it was a case of mistaken identity.
We just heard that from the AI, right? It was a case of mistaken identity, and they took accountability and said, we're so sorry that we killed your men.
But if you listen to Dean Rusk, former Secretary of State, Richard Helms, CIA Director, Bobby Ray Inman, head of the NSA, Captain Ward Boston, who was the chief counsel of the Court of Inquiry, if you listen to Admiral Moore, who served in Pearl Harbor, Midway, commanded both the Atlantic and Pacific Fleet, and was chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, none of these distinguished men think this was an accident. They think it was intentional murder by the country of Israel.
Thomas Massey, you're a saint, bro. Isn't this obvious? We can now see that if he's coming up on the House floor, and this is what he's bringing up to talk about, it's obvious that that's why Israel spent what, allegedly like 30 to 50 million dollars and purchase his seat. That's why he lost. It was rigged, obviously. It should be just obvious to everybody who is even paying attention from an outside perspective, even if you're not really in politics, that that seat was literally paid for. They spent as much money as necessary to make sure that he lost. And I don't understand even how that is even possible. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, homie?
Either as a false flag operation or because they simply didn't want anybody observing what they were doing that day. Well,
this also might be why I'm shadow banned.
Well, I've got a call to action for everybody here. Honor these individuals.
If he's willing to still fight against Israel, we're in for it, bud.
Quit ignoring that they exist. Go to their website, ussliberty.org. Support them. And while they're still alive, they need closure. Let's give them closure. Let's have an investigation. Let's pass a resolution honoring them. It's long overdue. And then they can have their justice.
Amen, Thomas Massey. Oh, yeah. Let's just listen to this demon talk for a second.
For the Jews against Rome. Rome and Jerusalem clashed over values with a great tragedy for the Jewish people. Well, we lost that. I think we have to win the next one. But the new Rome, the United States.
But the new Rome is the United States.
The Jews against Rome. For the Jews against Rome. Rome and Jerusalem clashed over values with a great tragedy for the Jewish people. Well, we lost that. I think we have to win the next one. But the new Rome, the United States. The Jews against Rome.
Weird. Take that for what you want, what you will. It was just a pretty interesting clip that was put together. Oh yeah, let me just pull something up real fast because they're gonna have context of why I'm pulling up this video. Let me just search this up real quick. Did you guys see this clip of old President Trump walking out in an interview? Basically, she said, we can go like this actually. Watch this. I'll show it to you real quick. Let me just hit this one. If you don't know, Tripoverdrip on freaking X.
You say, I promised. I didn't promise anything. I don't like these endless wars. So, when you say, I promised, I didn't promise anything.
I'm pretty sure by a raise of hands, who remembers him saying that he wasn't going to start any more wars? I'm pretty sure that I was coherent and conscious for that. He was like against war, right?
I don't like these endless wars. This is not an endless war.
I'm not going to start a war. I'm going to stop wars. No more wars, no more disruptions. We will have prosperity and we will have peace. Under Trump, we will have no more wars, no more disruptions, and we will have prosperity and peace for all. I am the candidate of peace. I am peace.
Weird. You are the candidate of peace, so let's just hear what you have to say.
The election was appropriate. Rigged. It was a dirty election, and it's happening again right now in California. It's happening right now in California. Right now, it's look at what's happening in California. It's 4 days in California. It's now they're not there. They're dropping fast because it's a rigged election. Let me tell you, it's 4.
So if he's gonna say that the California election is rigged, how are we like these like right-wing fucking conspiracy theorists if we were like saying, hey, we think that the Tom Massey election was rigged? You know what I mean?
4 days, and they aren't even close to coming up with it. You know why they're doing that? Because they're cheating on the election.
Do you have evidence to support
all they have to do is look.
He's talking about mail-in ballots that came in right at the very end. Can you please provide me information about how many mail-in ballots came in right at the very end of the Thomas Massey election? Like how many total mail-in ballots?
I looked for information on the number of mail-in ballots at the very end of Thomas Massey's recent election, but I could only find general vote totals and some references to absentee ballots. One source mentioned that Thomas Massey received over 8,000 absentee votes, while his opponent Ed Galrine garnered more than 10,000, according to information attributed to the Kentucky Secretary of State. However, I couldn't find a precise total of all mail-in ballots that came in at the end. If you need exact figures, it might be best to
Consult a professional. You.
All I have to do is
That's
look,
not
and I
evidence.
listen, and I listen to people, and let's see what
But
happens.
sir, that's not evidence.
Do you think it's appropriate
That's how they
that they
count the votes.
Do
in
you think it's
California.
appropriate that they have an election and 5 days later they're nowhere close to picking a
State and
winner?
local officials acknowledge they are slow. They're urging.
No, they're crooked.
They're urging
They're
the
crooked.
votes to be counted quickly. That's how they vote
They're
in
crooked, just
California.
like you're crooked. Your press is crooked, and Meet the Press is
To
crooked.
be fair, I'm not crooked, but let's
Really?
let's
When you play
continue.
right into their hands, then
Let's continue.
you're either crooked or you're stupid.
Let's
You play
continue.
right into their hands with this rap. You know that these elections are rigged. Your network knows that they're rigged. You know that I won an election in a landslide, and I got
Wait a second. You just said you know that the elections are rigged. Did you rig the election, Mr. Trump? Did you potentially rig the election this time? Because they pulled the trick on you the first time, and now that you're president, you're using those same techniques to get the people you want elected. Because it seems as if you have a track record of whoever you, what's the word? Whoever he says he likes them. There's a specific word. I can't remember. It's not on my tongue, but he says, yeah, I like that guy. I want him to win. Boom, guess what? That person wins. Is it because you just keep saying that we know that the elections are rigged, but you figured out how the Democrats did it on you, and now allegedly maybe you might be using it to win the elections, and you're pissed off because you tried to do that in California, and it's not looking good for you, bro.
94% bad
Endorsement. Thank you, my love.
press.
But Mr. President,
You know why I
you've
got
never
that?
presented
Because you have no
evidence.
credibility.
You've never presented, she says, you've never presented any evidence that it was rigged.
You know that I won an election in a landslide, and I got 94% bad press.
But Mr. President,
You know why I
you've
got
never
that?
presented
Because you have no
evidence.
credibility.
But you've never presented evidence that it was rigged. Let's keep talking about. I want to talk about Todd.
You
Blank.
have more evidence. There's more evidence than ever presented.
Let's talk
Your
about
elections in this country, we're like a third world country.
Yes, sir.
Your elections are crooked.
You're literally the fucking president, bro. How is it that more people aren't seeing past just his words and his orange face and his red tie and his just fucking mannerisms and his fucking ego that he just talks to people however he wants?
And you're crooked, and Meet the Press is crooked,
Mr.
and so is
President.
ABC, and CBS, and CNN.
But Mr.
You
President.
one-sided crooked networks. Right, let's call it quits, because I've had enough. Thank you, darling. Have a good
Mr.
time.
President, let's please. I traveled all the way to Wisconsin.
I've sat in the
traveled
rain.
I know. I
I've sat in
traveled
the rain
all the
with
way
you
to
for an hour,
Wisconsin.
on and off in the rain, and I've given you enough time. You ought to straighten out your press, because you know what?
Mr.
A
President.
country can never be
We
great
traveled
with a
all.
dishonest.
Listen.
Can't we just, where are my neurodivergence at, bro? Yeah, Facebook just cut out again. It's doing some weird stuff, cutting out over and over again. But where are my neurodivergence, bro? Where are my pattern recognizers, dude? Where are they at? You know what I'm saying? Because it seems to be that the whole team that's on his team, that anytime anyone asks questions, they seem pretty reasonable to ask these questions. You said no more wars. And then what do? They start attacking, just like we've talked about in these congressional depositions, right? All of a sudden they're asking real questions that people want to know. And then he's like, oh, I heard your son was on the Epstein list, you know?
Traveled all the way to Wisconsin for the interview.
So I just wanted to show you that, because now we're seeing them talk about some stuff in a different way on these news channels.
We all must be more aggressive than ever in getting the facts out to viewers and go into every interview armed with facts, but also be ready to fight back and get into those clips. His lies must be met with facts and lies must be run over and not allowed on decent broadcasts that represent journalism.
It's kind of ironic, right? Like, it's kind of ironic that MS Now, MSNBC promoted so much propaganda, dude, that they had to rebrand and change their name, and now they're saying, we need to bring facts. It just seems weird, bro.
His insults must be answered with the truth that he does not want to hear. And his cabinet's efforts to blur reality must be knocked down at every turn. The lies and we don't need to light our hair on fire, but we have to protect the truth. The lies and insults toward the free press must be answered. If we fail, we will be no better than the broadcast network and cable channels that act like the Pillow Channel, like nothing more than state-run mouthpieces. We all must be...
Haven't we been saying that? It just seemed, I just wanted to show that because they're now saying that on, like, well, I wanted to check if Steven Spielberg is in the fucking files, bro. Everyone knows who Steven Spielberg is. We're going to talk about aliens for a second, but I'm going to come up over here, hit the old web. Oh, yeah, I was just going to grab this clip real fast. Grab this little EFTA. What do you mean? To Jeffrey Epstein, you want to bring back an old school secret society, bro? What the fuck does that even mean? I'm going to make a little video about it today. Let me just clip that. Okay, thank you. Let me just hit the boom bang bing biddy ding bang bada. Who's here? If you're here, say hey, what's up? If you're here, say what's up, dude? What's goody in the hoodie, dude? What's up? Hey, my love, since you can hear me, can you help me with a refill? Have one of the kids. Have one of the kiddos come refill my Boffin Toffee. Okay, now I gotta go back over here and zoom in to get this great like this, because now I gotta do like this. Just drop it to my phone because I'm here. Okay, now we're going to ask about Steven Spielberg. Is he in the Epstein files? What's up, dude? We got Cobra Kai. We got Melissa and Levi. Cindy. Over on YouTube, I think. I think it's only... Who is it? Is Julia? Is Julia in here? What's up, Julia? Thank you guys for being here. Love you all so much. Appreciate it. Can I get a little thumbs up? Oh, there it is. Ooh. Can I get the balloons? Let's get the ballooners. Ooh. All right. Steven Spielberg. The documents reveal a nuanced picture. Steven Spielberg appears multiple times in Epstein's emails and business records, but as a peripheral figure, not a close associate or participant in Epstein's criminal enterprise. So you just knew about it, but never said anything. That's what that says to me. Is that how you would take it as well? A significant email thread from May 30th, 2014 captures a message to Epstein from an unidentified sender saying, "We are with Nikki Spielberg, who knows you in Monaco. I want to see you." Okay. This appears at least 4 copies across the data set, suggesting Epstein had some social overlap with Nikki Spielberg, likely a relative of Stevens in Monaco. The sender seems to be using this acquaintance as social currency, like who knows you, to get Epstein's attention. Peggy Segal, remember she owns that freaking... Do you guys remember the who was here for the Mind Unveiled talking about Peggy Segal and how she was connected into like a production company in Hollywood? A chain of emails through Epstein's assistant Leslie Groff, the ex-Mormon, routed through publicist Peggy Segal. She was a publicist, but she worked with some production company. Correct? Am I correct? If you know who Peggy is, Scruff, am I right? She worked with like a production director type Hollywood type stuff, but she obviously also a publicist, right? She was like the what's the word? The PR. She was PR for these people. If Jeffrey wants the Spielberg document is on at Walter Road tonight at 8:45 p.m. It's a very long and it will be available on HBO. This refers to a documentary about or connected to Spielberg, and Epstein was being offered access to a screening at Lincoln Center Walter Reed Theater. Notably, Epstein declined the invitation to a separate event, Wonderstruck, on the same weekend, though it's unclear if he attended the Spielberg screening. In 2012, invite to Epstein for a screening to Inventing David Geffen listed Spielberg among the documentary's interview subjects alongside Tom Hanks, Cher, Elton John. Wow, those are all alleged pedophiles, right? Drinking adrenochrome, you know what I'm saying? Epstein was on the invite list for this industry event, indicating he moved in circles where Spielberg's name was routine. But this is not a direct contact. Steven Spielberg listed as a financial client. Perhaps the most revealing find, the KCP Weekly Business Review financial document from April 14th explicitly lists Steven Spielberg, in Tier 3, clients who have requested coverage alongside David Geffen, Jeffrey Katzenberg, and George Lucas, all handled by the same relationship manager, Cheryl Powler at PB Los Angeles. This document is adjacent to Epstein's own financial accounts. He appears as Tier 1 client under Butterfly Trust. This doesn't mean Spielberg was Epstein's client, but that Spielberg and Epstein appeared on the same wealth management firm's internal client roster at the same branch with the same banker. Interesting. Other references include a resume listing Spielberg as a past client, a Lawrence Krauss email mentioning Spielberg turning a Kip Thorne screenplay into a movie, industry chatter about the Oscars, and a reference to the Twilight Zone helicopter accident case. All incidental to other topics in Epstein's correspondence. What this all adds up to, there's no evidence that Steven Spielberg flew on Epstein's plane, visited any of Epstein's properties, including the island, was a participant in or aware of Epstein's trafficking operation, exchanged direct communications with Epstein shown in these files, appears in the Epstein Black Book or contact directories found in these records. What the documents really show is that Spielberg existed in overlapping elite social and financial circles. His name appears in invites forwarded to Epstein. A relative socialized with Epstein's circle in Morocco. A family member was considered as a potential hire, and both men were clients at the same wealth management firm. The most significant finding is the financial firm overlap. Epstein and Spielberg sharing the same private banking relationship manager at the same Los Angeles office. This suggests they moved in the same rarefied financial ecosystem, but the documents don't show that they were homies. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the reasons, shout out Web, bro. That's one of the reasons why I like reading Web specifically, is because it's not going to tell me stuff that's not there. I really enjoy that part, especially if I'm just trying to learn and I'm reading some stuff. It'll tell you what the documents say, but it's not going to say, yeah, he was a fucking homie. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go ahead and just go upstairs and grab some more coffee and toffee. So come over here. Sorry guys, it's propaganda time. Let me refresh the old YouTuber. Stop! Stop it! No, thank you, Apple Juice. Apple Juice, I appreciate you, homie. Thank you for the gifted subs, dude. You're a boss. Thank you. I love you, bro. I appreciate you, Scotty Wheel. Scotty Wheel. Oh yeah, guys. We're gonna talk about this. Iran and Israel started attacking each other again. Iran basically implied that they were thinking about like completely obliterating Israel. If I'm seeing what I'm seeing correctly, we're just gonna go here. Breaking points. I know, Melissa, you said some crazy shit about breaking points. It's just something to watch. Pentagon says that Israel spying is a critical threat. Let's just hear what he says. I'm running up to get a drink. I'll be right back down. You won't have to listen to this for very much longer. I'm talking to Melissa specifically because she got upset last time I played breaking points. Not upset, but she was like, her name is Crystal Ball. They're in the Illuminati. Just kidding. I'm just playing, but yeah.
Turning now to this discussion of Israeli spying in the U.S. I'm going to give credit to NBC News. They broke this story first. Let's put C1 up here on the screen. The Pentagon has raised the threat of Israeli spying on U.S. to the highest level. Let me explain some of what they have, and then I will give you some of what I have. They say the Pentagon is increasingly concerned about Israel ramping up its spying on the U.S., recently raising the counterintelligence threat level from America's top ally in the Middle East to the highest level. The Pentagon's DIA. So this specifically is like the internal intelligence agency for the Pentagon, the Defense Intelligence Agency. In recent weeks, has issued a new counterintelligence threat assessment amid rising tensions between Israel and the U.S. over the way forward in the war with Iran. They said the DIA posted an internal message viewed by a current official that raised the level for Israel to, quote, critical. The designation stems from concerns within the Pentagon that Israel is making fun of making a particular effort to surveil top U.S. officials. I'm going to give you some of the names of those officials a little bit later on. The DIA assessment includes a 7-page document and features a chart. The document says the assessment of Israel is its ability to conduct human espionage and technical collection is at a critical level. It also identifies a series of specific incidents that heightened U.S. concerns. So the spokesperson for the Israeli embassy said this, quote, completely false, that Israel spies on the U.S., Israel does not gather intelligence on American entities, let alone U.S. government officials. LOL. Israeli intelligence collection efforts are aimed at its enemies, not its allies. Any claims to the contrary are either misinformed or politically motivated.
We should ask Mr. Pollard about that one.
Yes, the Pentagon has declined to comment, and a White House official said in a statement, the story is entirely false and sources someone who doesn't have any knowledge. The ODNI, the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, was overseen.
You tell me. You tell me, bro. Are they spying on us, dude? What do you think? Planet Earth is crazy, dude. You know what we're going to do right now? We're just going to come take a look. I like doing this, but it also starts to trip me out sometimes. What? I can't go to Google Trends? They took down Google Trends, bro? Okay, well, it's in February. They haven't searched my name in Israel since February. At least Tripoverdrip. Let's do it with the space. Okay. Let's see here. That was a little bit ago. Okay. Okay. Okay, Trevor Hess has not been looked up. Okay, hell yeah, bro. See that? But like I said, they did look at me. I was being looked up over there. Fucking it's schmizreal. You know what I'm saying? Oh, February, I got looked up over 100 times. I wonder what I was talking about in February. Interesting. Interesting. But anyways, I brought you over here because we were talking about Steven Spielberg, you know what I'm saying? Steven old Spielberg. But he's saying some crazy stuff about this documentary that he just dropped about guarding aliens, and I just kind of wanted to get your guys' little take on it. What you guys think, what you guys are hearing, you know what I'm saying?
Do you believe that, I mean, this seems a crazy question. I can't believe I'm asking it, but I'm asking it seriously. Like, do you think that there are aliens here? Have they, two parts. Have aliens been here? And do you think they might still be here?
Well, based on the circumstantial evidence of everything that I've gathered throughout my whole life, and everybody I've listened to, and every documentary I've ever watched, and all the testimonies in Congress that I've heard, I absolutely think that they have been here, and they are here, and who knows, maybe they've always been here.
So, do you believe that, I mean, this seems a crazy question.
What do you believe? Can we get some aliens in the chat? Cause I'm a fucking alien. We are here. We've been here. I just didn't come from space. I'm an interdimensional alien that incarnated inside of a human body. Do you guys like Atlantis? If you guys love Atlantis, we're gonna listen to this clip from Julian Dory. He had old Randall. He had Randall Carlson on. If you love Atlantis, you know who Randall Carlson is, right?
Cold water. He describes how they, the different types of.
He's currently prior to this clip, he's talking about when Plato described Atlantis.
The colors of the rock. And so I got samples, red, black, and white rocks. All the infrastructure of Atlantis was built out of these red, black, and white rocks. Well, you have red basalt, black basalt, and white limestones, all prevalent in the Azores.
So you seem, I don't want to say 100% or anything like that, but you seem very, very suspicious that the Azores may very well be.
Let me put it this way. The evidence that there was a massive subsidence at the end of the last ice age is overwhelming.
Right.
Randall Carlson's a beast. I would love to talk to him, dude. He has so much information, bro. The only thing about him, bro, is unless he's like really into it, there's times where I can't hang with him because he's just a slower paced talker, if that makes sense.
Now, does that mean that was Atlantis? No. But if you read Plato, the correlations are so striking that this is the way I put it. If Atlantis was real, this is the most obvious likely place for it. You don't have to go to all these other places and try to make it fit. The book I'm writing is going to be called Plato's Atlantis, Back to the Source. And it's going to be based upon this 8 hours of lecture.
Oh, I like that. It's a good title.
Yeah, Back to the Source.
Yeah.
Like, let's go back pre-70s when marine geologists declared that it was not possible that there was a sunken landmass.
Do we have evidence of what the climate might have been like if Atlantis existed there in the Azores back then?
Yes, we do. Absolutely, we do. Let's see here.
Let's take a little break real quick because I don't even know what the Azores are. I want to know. Okay, on the most recent Randall Carlson and 8 Julian Dory podcasts. What? No. There's not enough for all of you? No. Can you give me a Google Maps link to the Azores? What's up, Gary? What's up, dude? Azores Islands? No, I don't want. I want to go. How is it spelled? Go back. In Portugal? Was that Atlantis right there? You see that landmass, bro? Like this right here? All that? See how there's like, the land is like lifted up? That could have been an island, bro. You can see the fault line across, down it. You know what I'm saying? On the North Atlantic. The Acores? Is that how you would say it, though? Is the Azores? Interesting. You can see on Google Earth here, you can see where the land is deeper, where the water is deeper. Interesting. Especially if we go back over here, sorry. And you really just like look at the geographical location of where Atlantis, where he's saying that it would be, right? You could, I mean, maybe it's just me. Please let me know if you're the same in the chat. But can you like see that where you can, I don't know, maybe is it just me? Can you guys see where I could see a landmass being there, bro? I don't know. That's just me.
I can even show you another slide here. It should be coming up. Here we go. Okay, we seeing it?
That's where we were looking, right?
Yes.
Oh, whoops.
Go back one.
Oops.
There we go.
Okay, you can see this red dashed line.
Yep.
That was what is now the Gulf Stream.
We were just talking about that this morning with Ben Franklin.
Is that the whole clip? That is the whole clip. Dang, I want to read his book. I want to read his book. That's going to be sick. You guys like Charlie? You guys like Baron Coleman? I like Baron Coleman a lot. He's a smart ass dude, bro. I love talking to him. Not talking to him, obviously I don't talk to him, but I love hearing him talk is what I meant to say. He had this pod come out just recently. Everyone who supports Erica Kirk is a rabid pro-Zionist. That's what this post says. Everyone who thinks Tyler Robinson is guilty and should get the death penalty is pro-Zionist. If that's the case, it really raises the question of who killed Charlie Kirk, how, and why. Let's just listen to what he has to say.
100% of them who believe Tyler Robinson planned and executed Charlie Kirk by himself. He is responsible and he should get the death penalty. I can't find an example of one who's not a rabid pro-Zionist. And so you wonder, like, is this a litmus test for this group? Is this what it's really about? And if that's the case, it really raises the question of who killed Charlie Kirk and why. Because that seems to be the common thread. Because it's not man or woman. Because we have.
Yeah, real quick. Me and Queen Trip are wanting to do some parasite cleanse and some detoxes. So can you guys put all of the detox and cleanse information in the health chat? If you're not in, just a second.
What did Mo say?
Let me close out of this real quick.
It's not podcaster versus news people. It's
Let me just drop it for everyone real fast, you guys. The Discord chat. What's up, Lawrence? There you are, bro. See you, dude. Just drop the Discord in the chat for everyone. If you're not in the Discord, join the Discord, bro. Hit the Discord, homie. We got a bunch of people in here, bro. It doesn't tell me in that view. It tells me like this, though. It's like almost 250 people, bro. Almost 250 people deep, bro. Fuck yeah, bro. Join the Discord, bro. It's a group chat. That's basically what Discord is. It's literally just a group chat. If you're on Facebook, it's similar to the little Facebook channel thing I have, but it allows you to actually interact with us. I could show you right now. I'll bring it back up. Sorry about that. Bro, we've got Do You Want the Red Pill? Music is Life channel. Show me your food recipes. Promote your socials. Art. We've got the Oracle. People be dropping tarot card readings and stuff in there. All about crystals. We've got a wellness, what they don't want you to know about health chat. Join the Discord, homie. We would love for you to contribute to the Discord, homie. Where did that go? Where did my X go? Google Chrome? No. There it is. There it is. There it is.
There's news people both say. But they're rabid pro-Zionists. That's how you say it. Rabid pro-Zionists. Every single one of them. Every supporter of Erica Kirk seems to be a rabid pro-Zionist. Every one of them. And when that's the case,
I have not. Let me promote that too real fast, just because we're doing that. Let's see what it's at. 940 subs on YouTube, bro. 940 subs. I'm 60 subs on YouTube away from hitting my 1,000 sub goal. 60 more, dude. We're almost there. As soon as I hit 1,000 subs and 4,000 hours of watch time, I can then achieve monetization on YouTube, bro. It's like the next level, bro. It's like, you know what I'm saying? You guys be seeing how much work I be putting in, bro. I've been really trying to put drop shorts. I've been really trying to freaking drop the mindful messages from each stream up on YouTube as well. You know what I'm saying? I'm really been grinding over here, bro. So I appreciate everybody. Thank you guys. I love you guys so much. Like, for rizzle. Been grinding out here. Because we're out here grinding. Whoa. Let Baron finish.
you have to ask, like, is this why? Is this why they're taking that position? In other words,
Joanna, thank you for the subscription on YouTube, dude.
a common payment source? Like, are they getting paid from somebody to say this? I mean, maybe. I don't know. Not making that allegation, but it makes you wonder. Or is it just some sort of a, hey, we have this strong political position and we have to support Erica because she now supports this political position, apparently. We want the Iran war. We want to annex Gaza and the West Bank. We want all these things. And so in order to accomplish those things, we've got to have TPUSA in its current form, which Erica called TPUSA 2.0. You know, don't worry about all the stuff you were doing with Charlie. Not that that wasn't important, but we're not doing that anymore. This is TPUSA 2.0. New sheriff in town. Her name is me, Erica Kirk. And we're going to take a radically pro-Zionist right-wing turn.
Okay, question. There is no, for one, there is no wrong or right answer. If you believe it was Tyler Robinson, mushrooms in the chat. If you think that it was another country, put red hearts in the chat. If you think that it's all the information is so jumbled up and compiled, it's so confusing and you're not quite even sure, put aliens in the chat. I want to just kind of get a vibe check. You know, like I said, there's no wrong or right answers, bro. There's no wrong or right answers, bro. I just kind of want to see where everybody is, how everybody's vibing. You know what I'm saying? Was it a country? Was it Tyler Robinson? Or I'm not sure. Because, well, of course, the option isn't his demon wife, because if it wasn't Tyler Robinson, my opinion of the situation is she's definitely implicated. And that's really where I stand with that. If it wasn't Tyler Robinson, I feel she's definitely implicated. Do I mean that she did it? Not necessarily, but did she know about it? Did she help coordinate it? Has she been acting weird and suspicious afterwards? That's for you to decide. I mean, here's a hot take. I think Andrew Colvett is more guilty than Erica Kirk is. I think Blake Neff is more guilty than Erica Kirk might be. That's just my opinion. I think that they knew that every aspect of everything about her was going to be hyper-analyzed by every human on the planet for many, many years to come. I think that she potentially and allegedly has been MK Ultra'd, bro. That's what I think. I think that she is a shell of a human and that the programming inside is interchangeable based off of directives and orders. That's what I think. I think that there's a high possibility that she doesn't really even know what's going on, because she might be one of those victims that was traumatized as a child so bad that she has compartmentalized herself, and that they easily have the ability to change the frequency so that she can portray and play different roles. That's just a weird take, right? What if she is an Epstein victim? I don't know.
And anyone who doesn't see it is willfully blind.
Willfully blind.
Willfully blind.
All right. We're going to listen to Alex Jones for a second. We can listen to everybody. I really lost a lot of respect for Alex Jones once I seen clips of him like promoting Labubu's and his whole little weird 6'7" thing. I've kind of had him, kept him at a distance, because I think that he might have got paid to do some coverage of certain things and say certain opinions. It almost does seem as if it was like a coordinated attack when Alex Jones started attacking Candace Owens. Like out of nowhere, all of a sudden he's like, fuck her. You know, when it, from an outside perspective, at least in my perspective, it kind of looked like they were maybe possibly at one point kind of working for the same team in a sense. I don't know. What do you guys still fuck with Alex Jones? Do you not? The Alex Jones rabbit hole goes fucking... You don't know what Labubus are? Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh, can we take a freaking tangent? We're gonna take a little tangent, dude? You don't know what Labubus are, dude? This rabbit hole goes deep, bro. Shit, boy. We about to get deep up in there. Oh, shit, dude. All right, Perplexity. I need images as well as factual description of what a Labubu is and how it conspiratorially has a connection to a demon. All right, so this is what a Labubu is. Did anybody else, now that you've maybe seen these things, did anybody else get this just weird vibe, you know, that how in the fuck did this thing just take over and everyone wanted to buy these little things and now there's like collectible Labubus and worth tons and tons and tons of fucking money? They're like little keychain things and they all have like crazy sharp teeth and shit. They just like look like little fucking demons. Now I'm gonna drop some knowledge on you. Labubu is part of Lung's The Monsters character universe and was inspired by Nordic folklore and mythology, not by demonology. The word Labubu itself does not have a standard linguistic meaning. It's the character's invented name. The demon link is a viral conspiracy, not a verified fact. Online posts began comparing Labubu's sharp-toothed grin and eerie expression to the Pazazu, the ancient Mesopotamian demon. Some social media users amplified this. Pazazu is the figure people usually mean in these discussions. In Mesopotamian mythology, he's often depicted with a fearsome face and sometimes described as a wind demon. The resemblance argument is mostly visual and symbolic. Isn't that how all of this occult stuff is symbolic? The multiple sources note that designers and cultural analysis reject the idea that Labubu has an occult or demonic origins. Let's just look at the images. Okay, so that's Pazazu. Weird ass snake wiener. That's what I saw. Snake wiener. Do you see? Weird. Didn't want to show it too quick. But look. Come on. Labubi. Look at the... It just look... It's just... Why would we make connections like that, bro? Weird. Demonic for Shoador. What's up, Mom? Mom's up over on Facebook. What's up? But let's just hear him talk. Old fucking...
You have Jared Kushner's wife, Trump's daughter, Ivanka. A week ago, she's like, a few years ago, we're on the Rothschilds, the main Rothschilds boat, the Epstein Rothschilds, the big ones, the actual elite family that own the majority of the world's assets to BlackRock. And they just showed us this island off Albania in the Mediterranean. It's so beautiful. So we got the island, a $4 billion thing with the Prime Minister. And then we learned they got to deal with the airport and this wetland national park they're taking and these beaches the Albanians use. And because it's tied to Israel, because Kushner's really another just ambassador from Israel to the U.S., grew up with Netanyahu. Netanyahu used to stay at his house constantly. Just because the Albanians heard all this, millions of, we're talking 500,000 per rally, millions and millions estimated. We'll roll some B-roll of that. Now conflict, bombings, and machine gun attacks have begun. The country's going into civil war over this. Day 6, Albanian streets are exploding like never before. In just one rally, over 400,000 Albanians rage against Jared Kushner's $5 billion land grab. I'm sorry, it's $5 billion. They refuse to hand up.
Holy crap, day 6, Albania's streets are exploding like never before. Over 400,000 Albanians rage against Jared Kushner's $5 billion land grab. You tell me. You tell me. It's kind of weird. Are they brothers, huh? They're like best buds. Okay. We're going to watch this clip because I just like to remind everybody. You know what I mean? I'd just like to remind everybody that in August 2020, RFK predicted exactly what Bill Gates and Tony Fauci would say and do their magical COVID vaccine.
Vaccines are magic. They can save lives.
Everybody thinks, when they hear, okay, you're going to say lockdown until there's a vaccine. And as Bill Gates said, a magical vaccine. They're thinking that, the vaccine's going to do what we've been taught vaccines do, which is to give everybody who gets lifetime immunity and no, major health problems. What are the chances they're actually going to get a vaccine like that? I would say 0. Here's what I predict. I predict you're going to be seeing Bill Gates and Tony Fauci week after week dampening expectations about the vaccine. They originally say it's a medical vaccine we're going to give to everybody, and everybody is going to get the immune. And they're going to say, well, actually, only 80% of people will get immune, and then they'll say 7%, and they'll say 50%, and then they'll say 20%. But it's still worth it to have 20%, and they'll try to sell us on them.
All right, breaking news. Pharmaceutical giant Pfizer just announced moments ago that its coronavirus vaccine is 95% effective.
Meg, we should point out that Pfizer shares are up by about 3% on this news. Obviously, more good news there.
91%. 90% efficacy rate. This is a great vaccine.
Great day for humanity, great day for science, great day for science. Check this out, because it's got to be purchased, manufactured. Science, great day for the markets. Check this out, because it's got to be purchased, manufactured.
They're fucking with me, bruh. They're fucking with me, bro. They don't want me showing that one. Wow. Let's watch this clip.
Rainwater is a public resource, and collecting it without permission is illegal.
Rainwater is a public resource, and collecting it without permission is illegal?
Rainwater is a public resource, and collecting it without permission is illegal.
In Oregon, a man was convicted and sentenced to jail for collecting and using rainwater on his own land. The state government charged him with theft. Rancher Gary Harrington built 3 large reservoirs on his property to collect rainwater and snowmelt. Harrington said the water was primarily used for fire prevention.
Crazy. How in the fuck can you go to jail for collecting rain? Who would want to really collect their chemical-filled rain anyways, bro? What the fuck, bro? Now this one's about to trip y'all out. This one's about to trip y'all out. I don't know who this person is. I'm just a human who gets on the internet and looks at things on the internet just like every other human. But this was a pretty crazy clip that I stumbled upon. Well, for one, it's like China beats Elon Musk to launch the world's first commercial brain chip. Let's just watch the clip. Let's just watch the clip.
On brain chips, Nokia's CEO said the smartphone as we know it by 2030 is going to be implanted literally in our bodies. And so they're going to install these artificial intelligence systems into our bodies, and it will be linked to 6G infrastructure, not 5G anymore. Trump signed an executive order a few months ago to accelerate the deployment of 6G, and in that order,
they're fucking with me, bro. It just cut out again. I'm probably skipping on your platforms too, bro.
it literally says one of the goals is to operate implantable technologies. So these brain chips and other AI devices will interface with 6G infrastructure. They're big cellular, big tech. They basically have a golden ticket to do whatever they want. And this is very, very dangerous. And people will go along with it, unfortunately. People are easily tricked, as we've seen in the past 5 years. But I will not go for it. I'm not going to take any sort of biological implant.
Hell no. Hell no. Can we get some hell no's? Bro, you think MK Ultra is bad when they're outside of your brain? Wait till they're in your fucking brain.
And there's a lot of people who would have wanted her dead. A lot. And and I mean this in a good way, she had it now. Meaning
He's talking about Princess Diana. You guys remember her, right?
he was willing to say things that were not fucking popular to stand up for something. That's a compliment. I'm not saying that as a slight at all.
That even infuriated the royal family.
It infuriated them. Stand in line, stand straight, do this, keep the bloodline going.
Yeah.
Speak when spoken to. Say the lines correctly. Wave in a certain way. You know, it's totally unnatural for any human being to be pulled into that, let alone born into it, by the way. I have empathy for that as well. It's not a popular thing to say, but like, people live very opulently. Yes, they're cringe as fuck in every way, in most cases. But like, they don't get to. No prince, no royal family member is ever going to know the joy of walking out of your house with your dad on a Saturday morning and going to Wawa while he gets a coffee that you don't have yet because you're young, but you get a donut, and then you go to fucking soccer practice. They're never going to know those vibes. No royal family member is going to take a picture at 6:13 in the morning of a glimmering wall and tweet it out to everyone like Joe Deef does and says, "Get out and walk, everybody. Get out." You know, I'll give them
Racks up a lot of light.
Racks up a lot. They're never going to know that. And it's strictly because of what they were born into. Now people go, "Oh, boo-hoo, we're born into a fucking castle." And I hear you on that. I'd rather be born into that, I think, than a fucking cobalt mine, for sure.
Yeah.
I think that's very fair to say. But it's not a good life. And I think that she also, everyone around her in the family had resentment that she was from high society. Let's not get that twisted. It's not like
She was from another.
Yeah. It's not like she was from a poor family by any stretch of the imagination.
You got to really think about that. I brought that up because he brought up the cobalt mines. Does anybody know about the cobalt mines, bro?
He was being kept.
Word.
Who knows about the cobalt mines? If you're here, we got 4 people on YouTube. What's up, YouTube? We've got 2 people on Facebook, 11 people on Twitch. What's up? Can you please provide me images as well as information regarding the allegations of cobalt and the child labor or child slavery that happens to create or to extract cobalt from the earth, and then provide me some information of what this resource or mineral is used for? First of all, let's just look at this image. Just little kids. Just little kids in Africa, bro. Cobalt is a critical mineral used mainly in rechargeable batteries, especially for phones and electric vehicles, and it is also used in superalloys, magnets, pigments, catalysts, and some medical or industrial applications. Allegations around cobalt focus on child labor and unsafe mining conditions, especially in the Dominican Republic of Congo, which supplies a large share of the world's cobalt. Reports and investigations have repeatedly reported and alleged that children work in artisanal cobalt mines in hazardous conditions, including digging, hauling ore, and washing minerals for long hours. Some reporting says that children are as young as 6, and they work and the work can involve injury, toxic dust, tunnel collapses, and school absentee. So they're going to work in these mines instead of going to school. These claims are usually described as child labor or forced labor rather than every case being identical, but the broader issue is that parts of the supply chain have been linked to exploitation. Why cobalt is important is because it helps improve the performance, energy density, and stability of lithium-ion batteries used in smartphones, laptops, and electric vehicles. It also is used in aerospace alloys, cutting tools, industrial catalysts, and blue pigments for glass, ceramics, and coatings. In other words, cobalt is a small input material with a very large footprint in the modern tech and industrial manufacturing. Let's just look at some of these images. Look at that, bro. Look how many people are in these mines, bro. It's just these, it's just kids, bro. Like, look at these little boys. It's insane. It's insane. But that's what the cobalt mines are, bro. Let's just do this real fast. just to give you guys another little nugget. So I heard something somewhere that crystals that are formed inside of the earth are the predominant energy structure or the architecture of our modern cell phones today. Can you please provide me factual information regarding this topic? Cheers. Your statement is partially true but oversimplified. The key factor points are what's actually in cell phones is silicon, which is from quartz and sand, the main composite, quartz crystals, copper, lithium, potassium, cobalt, magnesium, tungsten. Crystals formed in the earth are a fundamental material for microprocessor chips, the brain of your phone. Quartz crystals are used for timing and frequency control, bro. Doesn't that say something wild, bro? Can we get fucking I love crystals in the chat, bro? That's insane, right? Quartz crystals are used for timing and frequency control. The piezoelectricity, not quite accurate. They're not the predominant energy structure. Cell phones use many different materials for different functions, like silicone crystals. Telling you, bro. Why is there's crystals in your phone, bro? And that's how it fucking works, dude. You're telling me it's all just a bunch of wires and shit? Hell no. You guys know who Ryan Matta is? Friend of the show. One day I hope to meet him.
Street is that President Trump is shitting himself right now because he knows that Iran has the absolute dominance to completely destroy Israel.
But a short time ago, Laura, yes, President Trump has spoken with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. The White House had told me he was being kept fully abreast of the developments in Iran and clearly was very keen to speak with the Israeli Prime Minister to try and bring a halt to any sort of further retaliation that might come from Israel itself. He had told Axios that he would tell Benjamin Netanyahu not to proceed. Essentially, President Trump views the situation with Iran as being very close to a deal, and he did not want what is taking place over the course of the last few hours and potentially over the next few hours to intervene in that.
Israel thinks that they have America so wrapped around their finger that at the drop of the dime, America's going to send their sons and daughters off to die fighting their war. This might be Israel's fatal mistake. They knew that it was now or never. If Benjamin Netanyahu didn't keep these wars going, he was going to prison for the war crimes that he was committing. And there was nothing Israel was going to be able to do to stop that from happening. Now, the entire world has turned their back on Israel. We've watched them commit a genocide for the last 4 years on 4 goddamn K. Every day we wake up, we see children with their limbs blown off, their heads blown off, their genitals shot off. We see videos of these poor children bleeding out in the streets, laying on gravel dirt roads, while Israelis stand around them with their long-ass fucking teeth and their ugly-ass jerry-curled hair and their fucking dirt and their fucking Greater Israel patches on their goddamn uniforms. And we watch them stand there and we watch these poor children fucking bleed out. So nobody gives a fucking shit what happens to Israel. And Trump can't stop what's coming now. And Iran said, fucking, we're done. We're going to take all of Gaza back. We're going to liberate Gaza, and we're going to liberate fucking Lebanon, and then we're coming for Israel. And we are going to drive off every U.S. military base off the fucking face of the Middle East, period. And there's nothing you can do to fucking stop us. And the world is fucking rooting it on. Bring our fucking troops home. Let Israel deal with the shit that they fucking started. Cut off all foreign aid to these motherfuckers. And let's just get this shit over with. Let's rip the fucking Band-Aid off and take our goddamn country back. It is time. And Iran is giving everything you need and every opportunity to make this shit fucking happen. And we are not taking a goddamn single fucking Israeli refugee, period. End of fucking story. They are not coming here to America. We are not merging our fucking militaries. We're not merging our fucking countries with these psychopaths. They started this shit, now they can fucking deal with it.
Pretty much, right? I mean, maybe you're not the individual that agrees with Ryan. And if you're the type of individual that doesn't agree with Ryan, then you probably don't agree with me and you're probably not here. So, just have to say, Ryan Maddow's a beast, bro. He just says it exactly how it is, bro. Like, what? And to be honest, we just got to just say that's how it is, bro. Like, we live in America. At least I do. Some of you might not. Some of you live in our neighbors, Mexico and Canada. Both of y'all are up in the house as well. We got the UK up in here as well. Prestige worldwide. Get you that feeling. UB40. I recall the song. I can't play it because it's copyright. 11, 5, and 3. Y'all motherfuckers ready to learn about some more about Tartaria? We're gonna watch some shit on Tartaria. I check his channel like literally every single day. Oh, we're up in Ireland too. Let's go, dude. You guys see that? YouTube, Ireland's in the house, bro. We got Ireland. We got the fucking UK. We got someone in Canada. We got someone in Mexico. We got motherfuckers in America up in here. I'm telling you, bro. Just do what you got to do when it got to get done. You heard me? You heard me? Let's go, Team Human. We're looking for a Tartaria video. I've seen one about South Carolina. Powerpuff Girls? Whoa, dude. Do you guys want to watch this one, bro? Powerpuff Girls are humonculous. The Fair Use Act. Here we are, Fair Use Act. This is what I need to research more into. The Fair Use Act. Fair use is a permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, and personal tips the balance in favor of fair use. Dang, I can't watch this or I'll get hit for copyright because I don't have... I'll be infringing, bro. Because if Facebook's paying me, bro. But you gotta think, do you think fucking Mind Unveiled? Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, and news reporting. We're gonna try it. Fair use, right? We're gonna be commenting and talking about it. Fucking run that shit.
I hope you're having a great day so far. We wanted to apologize for making you guys wait so long for that last video, but I think it was worth it. Not only that, but a lot of you guys reached out to us to make sure everything was okay, and that just really touched us. So
we are still here, bro. We are still here. Mind Unveiled, friend of the show. We'd love to speak with them as well. We've been wondering since your last video when you were just like dropping bombs about Epstein, and then you did a Candace one. We want to know when you're dropping a new one, Mind Unveiled.
Try and do some smaller, more consistent videos. Also, if you haven't seen the Homunculus Unveiled video and you like long-form content, make sure you check that out.
Oh boy, did we watch that whole video. Who is it that was here for the homunculi?
In that video, we break down the idea and the history of the homunculus. It'll help understand these pop culture videos that we're going to be working on. I think it's safe to say that even if it wasn't directly noticeable, that this subject has been in our faces since we were children. So today we're going to be discussing one of my favorite shows as a kid, the Powerpuff Girls. Powerpuff Girls was one of the most popular shows in the late 90s. The art style was completely unique, the animation was surreal and unforgettable. You know, very appealing to young children with the simple shapes and colors and funny narrator. However, the subject matter of the show is actually quite dark and oftentimes disturbing. But we all know that as kids, we don't really pick up on that stuff. All we can see is these adorable, kicking supergirls. Now, as adults, we can see how strange...
Bro, even as a boy, dude, Powerpuff Girls was my favorite, dude.
Horrifying and bizarre some of these episodes truly were. So who are the Powerpuff Girls? The story revolves around 3 kindergarten-aged girls who have superpowers: Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup. They each have their own personality and color, Blossom being the leader, showing off feminine and masculine attributes, Buttercup being the masculine energy of the group, and Bubbles being the feminine aspect. Now this was aired on Cartoon Network, so it definitely was designed for children. Yet the subject matter of the show references some of the deepest secrets of alchemy and the occult.
What? The deepest levels of alchemy in the occult? Are you guys buckled in? The whole thing is about to get weird. I'm just giving you a warning for people who haven't been here when things get weird. You might not know what to expect. Things are about to get weird.
So what is the show really about? Well, it starts with a scientist named Professor Utonium. He's, a scientist trying to discover the mysteries of the universe. He ends up attempting to engineer the perfect little girls in his lab when a mystery ingredient called Chemical X is accidentally added to his mix. The intro scene makes it seem that it was the professor's fault, but just out of frame, there's his monkey lab assistant who's throwing a temper tantrum, forcing the professor's elbow to crash into the round bottom flask, releasing this mysterious liquid into the magical girl concoction. Remember Liber Vaccae? Well, basically, this monkey is the key to the genesis of the Powerpuff Girls in more ways than one. So what the heck is Chemical X? Well, it's a black goo-like substance that we see inside of this large flask, possibly representing the Philosopher's Stone, or the final ingredient to the creation of the homunculus. As a result of mixing the Chemical X in a cauldron with sugar, or fermentation, then spice, or you could say herbs, and then everything nice, which seems to be a reference for astrology or astral energies, as it seems to represent the desires for gifts from imagination, stars, rainbows, and...
Yeah, that monkey, Mojo Jojo, does kind of look like a Labubu, huh?
Animals. Then, after choosing these 3 ingredients to create the perfect little girls, the accident occurs and the Chemical X black goo substance falls into the mixture. This event creates these 3 divine glowing beings that are little children with big heads, reminiscent of a makeup powder puff or even a powder puff flower. This is, of course, blatantly alchemical, but it goes much deeper than that. There's one particularly shocking episode that shows the very dark side of this sacred knowledge. Knock It Off. In Season 4, Episode 7, there's an episode called Knock It Off, and it begins with the professor getting a phone call from his old college roommate, Dick Hardley. Now, this character is not in any other episodes, and it's very weird that they would name him Dick. Yeah, sure, that's a very common guy name, and he is a jerk, but it seems this name was chosen on purpose to represent a specific symbol. Could be that it's a generative reference. Well, this Dick Hardley wants to meet up with the professor just to catch up. And the professor, feeling nostalgic, starts to reminisce on old times, and interestingly, there's a shot where he says, "We explored and discovered the universe together." Now on its own, it doesn't seem like much, but when you add it together with everything else, this is a clear reference to the ancient astrologers, as the professor is essentially a modern-day alchemist. However, Dick is shown to not really have done any of the work, merely parasiting off the professor, who was completely oblivious to this fact. Dick took credit for Utonium's work all the time, and he hasn't changed one bit. It's pretty obvious that the only reason he's even visiting the professor is to see if he can pilfer any of his old buddy's fresh ideas. So Professor Dick shows up at the Utonium household, unaware of the Powerpuff Girls since he lives in a different town. Well, Professor Utonium gives him a tour.
I'm just pointing out, at least to me, it looks like he's like super feminized compared to the professor. I'm just pointing out an observation. Do you guys see the same observation?
Unaware of the Powerpuff Girls since he lives in a different town. Well, Professor Utonium gives him a tour of the house while Dick probes him for information on how much money he's making, all the while roasting him on the interior of his house. When he asks to see the lab, Utonium says he doesn't want to go in there because it's messy and it's being cleaned by the girls. Dick suggests that the kids go play somewhere else because he and their dad have business to discuss. But before he can finish that thought, he witnesses the Powerpuff Girls flying around and cleaning the room with their superpowers. He immediately, without hesitation, sees this as an opportunity for making insane amounts of money. The professor, however, views them as children, his daughters, and he proudly states that he's their creator and their father. But of course, Dick can only see them as a gold mine. Dick even reveals why he actually came. He says that he knew one of Utonium's little inventions would turn into a cash cow. He even suggests marketing the Powerpuff Girls as a food. Seriously, what a sick and twisted guy.
What the fuck? Comet ping pong?
This outburst naturally infuriates the professor, and he sternly tells Dick to leave immediately and to keep clear of him and his kids forever. However, Dick keeps pressing him from outside his house before he has another big brain idea. He ends up stalking the girls, and like a creep, he pulls up to them while they're just leaving school. They know they're not supposed to talk to strangers, but then he reminds them that he was roomies with their dad, so they think it's okay. Lawson comments on his cool car, and he jumps on the opportunity and weirdly asks them if they want to ride home. On the way to their house, he asks them what they're made of, and they tell him. And he ends up manipulating them into stealing Chemical X from Professor Utonium. Dick does this by explaining to the girls that there's just so much evil in the world, and he says how awesome it would be if there were more Powerpuff Girls that would help fight outside of Townsville. Basically, he convinces them to lie and steal for the greater good. The girls, now feeling guilty, decide to steal some Chemical X and give it to him, keeping it a secret from Professor Utonium. Dick is so desperate to get his hands on this thing. He literally says, "Gimme, gimme, gimme, gimme," before getting it. Now, this is when it gets scary. He rushes off and heads to this really eerie abandoned factory on a cliff over the water, which he breaks into in order to start mass-producing his own Powerpuff Girls. So,
what the fuck?
So he takes the ingredients and the Chemical X and uses them to create his own Powerpuff Girls like a mad scientist. We see a very similar scene to the opening intro, but of course different. The look on his face is greed the entire time. Once the explosion happens, we see him laughing maniacally in the corner. He then takes this creation and treats it like a product. even slapping them on the head when they're moving under the sheet. Dick, seeking investors, begins to pitch these new homunculi as the ultimate superheroes that will protect cities from evil and crime. But even with his first batch, you can tell that something's not quite right with these girls. In the next scene, we see the girls and the professor sitting on a couch watching the news, where Dick's bootleg Powerpuff Girls are seen in New York. That night in bed, the girls admit that they feel weird about lying to their dad, but try to reassure themselves that they made the right choice. The guilt-ridden words of Professor Dick clearly made an impact on them, but it's also clear that they're feeling unsure about the whole thing. After this first sale, we start to see an insane sequence. Dick is doing this in multiple cities with multiple different batches, with each batch of the unsanctioned Powerpuff Girls becoming more uncanny and deformed. And after every batch, the factory on the cliff grows more and more in size, showing this to be a very profitable operation. Dick is sending these black market Powerpuff Girls all over the world. Then we see that he invented a different way to create them.
Okay, we gotta pause for a second because I gotta bring you guys in. I gotta bring you on close. We gotta just like chat about the multitude of things that I'm thinking about, bro. Dude, Erica Kirk is a Powerpuff Girl, bro. She's a homunculi. Creation. And like, so are like probably a lot of our childhood celebrities, you know, like grown in labs type thing. You know what I mean? Does that resonate with anybody else? Oh, weird as fuck, bro. Because it definitely seems to me watching this that there have been people who seem to be celebrities or elites or of that upper echelon, you could say, that seem fabricated and just almost as if they're like created. Like kind of like what Candace says. She says like the touch of Midas, where like these, like Jeffrey Epstein, how and why did he get the job at the teacher, being a teacher, a math teacher, and then all of a sudden he just like meets one of the students' parents, and then next thing you know he's like working in banks and shit. It's like the Midas touch. They just like get picked up and they just are elevated. All of the mechanics of the Matrix are just aimed at just raising this person to where they need to be to fulfill whatever mission is the directive. Seems weird.
For speed, and we see them on a conveyor belt, looking more like hollow dolls than real-life girls. Due to his lack of care and cheap labor, they start to become all mixed up, resembling a blend of the different variations of the three girls. They're being packaged in a massive operation, handled roughly by metal claws, and placed into cardboard and plastic boxes. It's a truly heartbreaking scene when you think of how sweet and pure the original Powerpuff Girls are. But of course, all Dick cares about is money. More speed, more homunculi. This was his cash cow. All the while, these Powerpuff derivatives are flying around the world fighting crime, but the results are obviously diminished. In India, we have a Mojo Jojo counterpart, Raja Jaja, who's attacking the city with some crystal
Raja Jaja
laser beam. Of course, India's newly purchased defense system gets the job done, but just barely. We can see the leg of one of the girls fall off like a loose tooth, showing the obvious drop in overall quality. When sales dip, Dick demands his exhausted factory workers to cut the chemical X in half. We see customers complaining to Dick on the phone, where he dismisses their claims and just pushes them to buy a newer model. Then we see Dick
You're gonna be alright, Britt.
doing quality control, as he stands them all in a line and harshly judges them. In this crowd, we can see many of the Powerpuff Girls' extreme are very deformed and only slightly resembling their originals. We even see a one Powerpuff Girl and even a Blemmy Powerpuff.
Whoa! What the fuck, dude?
When he sees a Buttercup clone that's perfect, he demands his workers to cut back on the sugar. He even demands that she be melted down for her chemical X. They even go so far as to market these Powerpuff Girls Extreme on a cheesy TV infomercial. It's here that the girls see the commercial and become enraged by his lies. On their way to go beat his butt, the professor questions them on their world
Yeah, we're gonna go beat his butt.
travels, and they lie to him before zooming off to Dick's freaky factory. When they get there, they tell him to stop, but he completely ignores their concerns and just demands that they steal more Chemical X for him. Or that's what they think. His actual plan was just to melt them down and take it from them.
That's crazy as fuck.
Girls try to retrieve the Chemical X that he's got left, but in an attempt to keep it all to himself, he swallows the entire thing. When he does this, he starts convulsing, foaming at the mouth, twitching.
This is a cartoon fucking that kids watched. How crazy is this, dude?
Before transforming into a massive mutant creature. It's kind of creepy because at first it's played off
You too, Gamma.
as a joke. And then it goes into this gruesome transformation where he's some sort of hulking Cthulhu creature. From the distance, the deformed Powerpuff Girl.
Are you guys anyone know about Cthulhu, bro? Just putting the vibes out there. Cthulhu.
Are watching the original girls fight the mutated Dick Hardley. The girls try to fight him, but he traps them in a glass contraption designed to completely suck out the Chemical X. Inside this glass tube, the girls are being extracted of their life force, and an empty flask is being filled with the Chemical X being extracted from them.
Okay, well, we have to take a little tangent then. Real quick. Can you please provide me information of the mythical creature Cthulhu? And maybe some images. This is Cthulhu. Do you guys know who H.P. Lovecraft is? Anybody know who H.P. Lovecraft? Yeah. The Kraken. Basically the Kraken, yeah. Cthulhu is a fictional character by American horror writer H.P. Lovecraft. It's pretty insane, bro. Can you please provide me information regarding the connection to H.P. Lovecraft and either alchemy or the occult? H.P. Lovecraft's connection to alchemy and the occult is fascinating precisely because it's deeply ironic. Lovecraft was a strict materialist and atheist who philosophically rejected all spirituality and magic, yet his fiction became one of the most influential sources for modern occultism. The irony is that fiction became a real occultism. Despite Lovecraft's rejection of magic, occultists now treat his work as genuine, like the Necromonicon. Pure fiction, at least Lovecraft said this, but some occultists now treat it as if it is real and have written their own editions. Cthulhu is the Kraken type creature I just showed you. Lovecraft's alchemical connection is primarily through the 1908 story The Alchemist, written when he was just 18 years old. Features a sorcerer seeking the Philosopher's Stone and the eternal elixir of life. The narrator spends isolation reading treatises of magic, mentioning Paracelsus, the alchemist, and Hermes Trismegistus, founder of the alchemical tradition. However, this was early Gothic fiction and not serious alchemical study. Given the interest in Hermetic principles, alchemy, and esoteric knowledge, given my interest, that's crazy. He knows that I'm interested in the alchemy, esoteric knowledge, Hermetic principles. The Lovecraft connection is particularly relevant because occultists have essentially retroactively transformed his fiction into actual exoteric tradition, creating a modern magical system where Cthulhu represents the left-hand path beyond good and evil, similar to the Hermetic concept of operating beyond morality that you've explored in my monologues. Supposedly, H.P. Lovecraft didn't like magic, but his fictional books became some other people's like sacred texts, bro. That's what Cthulhu is.
Now, as much as I enjoyed this show, I have to say this was way too far for a concept for children to be seeing. The very next scene is the professor walking in looking for his girls, and from the back he sees 3 girls. He reaches out to them expectantly, but when they turn around, they're these hybrid deformed creatures, and of course the professor is just horrified. He sees all the sick things that Dick has made.
Damn, be safe, Kelty. He says he's got a sibling rivalry going over there.
Unexplainable things. Obviously, they're trying to make this as traumatic as possible. Most disturbing of all is now his real girls are dying in the flask, being dissolved of their chemical X. Professor Utonium confronts Dick and begs him to let them go, and interestingly tries to sacrifice himself in order to save them. Word for word, Dick says, "Am I to understand that you will sacrifice your life for theirs, and you'll stay here and make chemical X forever?" The professor agrees as long as his girls will be safe. Unsurprisingly, greedy monster Dick Harley tells the professor that he's a fool and that he's going to keep them both. Dick tells his army of homunculi to capture the professor, and when Utonium sees this, he says, "Oh Dick, what have you made?" He presses himself upon the glass of the flask and reassures his girls, who are lying limp on the ground, that it's going to be okay. The army of monstrous beings search Professor Utonium away, but not before he tells the girls that he loves them. Tears start to flow from his eyes, and they say that they love him back, before passing out. The malformed Powerpuff Girls see this, and show for the very first time a sense of emotional depth. They've of course never heard these words before, and being made of loosely the same ingredients as the original Powerpuff Girls, they react in a similar fashion, with empathy. This empathy, though, quickly turns to fury as they realize that their creator has robbed them of the love and care they deserve. Dick demands that they take the professor away, but they rebel. They start to turn on him, chanting his name over and over again. They say, "You never gave us love." They ask, "Where was our love?" And as this is happening, the Powerpuff Girls are lying in the glass dome, looking lifeless with some sort of disease that sort of resembles leprosy. Once the bulk of the knockoff Powerpuff Girls have taken Dick Harley down, another group lifts the dome from the girls, and they tell the professor to take the girls and get out before it's too late. They escape by the skin of their teeth, and the professor holds his girls as he weeps. Interestingly, these tears seem to restore the Powerpuff Girls. So the professor essentially acts like a Jesus figure in healing them instantly through love.
Weird that he made the connection. They made the connection to the Jesus figure. Do you guys think that's weird? If you're here, say what's up. I got 7 people up on YouTube. What's up, YouTube? What's up, YouTube? What's up, motherfucker? What's up, bro? What's up? Thank you for being here, bro. Thank you. I appreciate you so much. we got 2 people on Facebook. Haven't seen people on Facebook for a little bit. We got some people up over here on Twitch. We got Monica, Astro Strange, Release and Transform, Mazda, Manda, Gamma, Brianna, Britt. What's up, Team Human? Jensta is up in the house. What's up? Kelty's in the house. What's good? Hell yeah.
Which doesn't make too much sense since all of their chemical X was extracted. Yet apparently
Pretty Ricky's in here too. Can't forget her.
Apparently, they can be revived with love from the professor alone. Now, anyone could argue that underneath the disturbing shell is a good message about love and caring, and I'm sure that's fine for an older audience, but I don't know, it just seems a little too far for a show with a TVY7 rating. I'm sure there were other ways they could have portrayed this message, but they chose to go a very dark and visually disturbing route. These symbols, I feel, were chosen on purpose to display deep occult secrets branded for young minds. Now, this isn't a complete breakdown of the Powerpuff Girls series, but there are some things we should mention before we go on. First, let's talk about the devil character.
Okay, so before we go on, we have now, as Team Human, we've went through these freaking occult knowledge things, information, right? Now rewatching it like in this manner, can you
Hey, orange pig.
can you see it? Do you see the occult symbolism? Or is it just me? Is it just me? I can see it. I can see it with my eyes. I can see it with my eyes. I have to go to the potty, so I'm looking for something. We can watch Zach Faust.
Who was campaigned by
Zach Faust
and lobbied by the same exact $5 million. Easy. Me and the Rock.
I'm gonna go potty. I'll be right back, okay? You guys don't go anywhere. Don't worry, I'll make sure you can see it. Don't leave. I'll be right back.
By the way, if you're Mr. John Pierpont Morgan, and you have the opportunity to lend $65 million, and that's easy for you. Okay, $65 million, easy. Me and the Rothschild, that's my boy. We got this. Easy. You get that opportunity to get paid back that money at interest. Who would you rather be the people who are bearing that debt? Would you rather A, loan it to a business who's looking to expand? B, loan it little by little to the normal everyday folk trying to finance their lifestyle and grow here in America? C, loan it to a country who's guaranteed to never default on that debt? C is probably the decision you're going to go with. If you loan to just a bunch of people, a bunch of normal plebes, little goy sheep, come on. I know not all of you are going to pay me back. You don't respect me like that. You don't respect my money. Be gone. Be gone. I have banks for that. I have entire banking systems for that. Go talk to one of my tellers. And then if you're looking at a business side, like there's upside, there's risk though of the possibility of that company, that business not doing anything, not making any money. But what's in your guarantee? That a country will pay you back. That a country will pay you back. So you have the opportunity to lend to an entire country. It's a pretty good bet. And they need a lot of money. Okay, you're still James or John Pierpont Morgan. Now let's go to 1907. Another giant bailout. Another awesome opportunity for the Morgan House to grow. Another political clout moment where you got to step in and save the country. Now, you've done that back to back within a decade. You have unlocked possibly the greatest investment that you could possibly have. The American capitalist system is indebted to you. And there's a good chance they're going to come ringing your doorbell again. So then why would James, I keep saying James, damn it, John Pierpont Morgan set up the meeting place, have representatives present, and even have some of those representatives go on to lead the Federal Reserve, if not having a Federal Reserve was the best possible investment for him? Like, think about it. You've created one of the best investment opportunities for yourself, and then you're going to go simultaneously create the entity that takes you out of the picture? He created his own replacement.
All right, I'm here. I'm sorry, guys. Oh, who did I lose? Who's still here? Can everybody, if you're here, just run over and jet over to fucking Facebook? We got no viewers on Facebook. Can we just get some of you guys to just jet over to Facebook and just push the buttons, comment, Team Human? I don't know, maybe drop your geographical location so people feel entitled to do that. Water. Alright, let's get back into the Powerpuff Girl video, bro.
I know that this used to terrify Soul as a kid, but this demon called him is an androgynous devil with large lobster-like claws. There's not too much known about the origins of him, but what we do know is that this character is essentially a supernatural divine being not of this world. Him is immortal and has the ability to shapeshift, possess creatures and objects. He can control minds, stop time, and he can also cause horrific visions. He doesn't seem to have any motive other than just this pure...
What's up, everybody? What's up? Love you guys. Thank you for being here. Hell yeah. We're just chilling, watching some shit. We're about 2 hours in already, so you know how it goes. Mindful message at the beginning. Chit chat, what's up, what's good. We look over and talk about some stuffs. And then we just watch and just learn some things. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you guys. For Rizzle. Canada's in the house. Let's go, Team Human. If y'all in the Facebook squad right now, can y'all just maybe just tap the like button a whole bunch of times for like the next 30 seconds or so?
Sadistic pleasure of others' suffering. Then there's of course Mojo Jojo, the monkey
Mojo Jojo,
who initially caused the Chemical X to fall into the cauldron. During the Chemical X explosion, a young Mojo was affected by the chemicals, turning him into a genius mutant with an enlarged brain. This also caused his skin to turn green and gave him new advanced emotions, like envy, for instance. Mojo Jojo is closely related to the Powerpuff Girls, as he too was created or transformed during this accidental event.
Let's go, Team Human!
You could argue that they also have the same father. Mojo Jojo claims that he turned evil because the professor lost interest in him after the creation of the Powerpuff Girls. Now, if you remember from Book of the Cow, a monkey was used in the creation of an artificial being. Make sure you check out that 10-hour video if you want to know more about that. But it somehow gets even crazier because Mojo is not only the one who caused the accident, but he's responsible for the professor's desire to even create the perfect little girls in the first place.
In an episode called Get Back Jojo, Mojo Jojo goes back in time to prevent the Powerpuff Girls from ever existing. This episode begins at career day at Pokio's kindergarten, the school the Powerpuff Girls attend. When it's the professor's turn, he shows off a new invention, a time machine. Interestingly, some of these levers do look very alchemical, and this machine allows one to go back to any time that he wishes. While he's presenting this, Mojo Jojo walks by the school and overhears him talking about how the professor didn't even want to be a scientist, and that it was some mysterious event in the past that inspired him to become a scientist and create the Powerpuff Girls. But he doesn't mention what this is. Mojo Jojo sees this as an opportunity. He makes the decision to kidnap a girl named Mary and steal her clothes to hide in the crowd as an imposter. Seems kind of messed up. For some reason, the professor is smart enough to create a time machine, but not smart enough to notice a green monkey wearing a dress. So there's this strange obliviousness with the professor that often contradicts his level of intelligence. This is actually further expanded upon when Mojo Jojo realizes that the professor can dial in the exact time when he was inspired. Upon doing this, Mojo Jojo discards Mary's stolen dress and jumps into the time machine in an effort to stop the professor from ever getting inspired. So Mojo Jojo goes through a time loop and goes back to the same school in 1959. He begins looking for the professor in the school and hears a classroom in session. He looks through the window and sees a very smart kid who is basically the know-it-all of the class, and he sort of looks like Professor Utonium, and so Mojo Jojo starts to think that this is the professor. But it's not. The professor is actually the kid behind this know-it-all, and then we see this kid with a square-shaped head who was the bully class clown, and lo and behold, it's the young Professor Utonium.
Damn!
Basically, when Mojo first looks into the window, the classroom is watching this movie on volcanoes. This is no accident, and there is symbolism at play.
Another reference to a video he does. Mind Unveiled.
We see this old safety film on Townsville, where the first shot has a huge sign that says, "Eat pork," and that doesn't seem like an accident. We learn that there's an active volcano. This is no ordinary volcano, and I would argue it's a symbol for Vulcan and or sacrifice. The movie is a safety video on volcanoes, but it's obviously being cryptic. It says, quote, "Jimmy thought it would be cool to goof around the volcano." And the thing is that the authors of this...
Do you guys want to know something crazy? Let's just look at something crazy, okay? Can you please provide me factual information about Yosemite or Old Faithful and the volcano and what would happen if it erupted? There's a key correlation. Okay, so Old Faithful is in Yellowstone. Sorry, wrong one. Yellowstone. I was meaning Yellowstone. The Old Faithful guys are in Yellowstone. Dude, if this thing ever blew up, dude. No, I'm talking about the volcano that's in Yellowstone, that if it erupts, it would be catastrophic. The super volcano, yeah. It's also called Yellowstone Caldera. %90 of people would be killed within 1,000 kilometers of the blast. There would be roughly 6 feet of ash across much of the United States. It would disrupt all of our electrical grids. Millions of North American people would die from ash, famine, and the climate in the first decade. There would be months of intense seismic activity before it blew up, though. The active status is not overdue. It's showing no signs of an imminent eruption. It is one of the world's most closely monitored volcanic regions. Interesting, huh? Crazy, huh, dude? Alright, guys. I think I'm out of here today. We got 2 hours in today. I got some other stuff I have to do. My children are here. My little nephew slept over. We've been playing basketball. My wife is still upstairs trying to work. They be bugging her like crazy. It's time to go be a dad and do dad shit for a little bit. I appreciate all you guys for being here, bro. I love you so much. For real. For Rizzo my nizzle. Peace the fuck out, homie. Can we take some deep breaths real quick, though? Because I'm going to need them. Wherever you are, you see this now. If you see this live, you see this later. There's so much magic and actual divine essence that comes over you when you intentionally breathe. Like, really just take a few seconds to really think about how often you're actually filling your lungs up to full capacity. Most of us get stuck on this auto breathe, right? There's things that happen inside of our nervous system when we deep breath all the way in and then slow exhales. I love you guys. Peace out, motherfucker.